to Locker Talk.
All right, welcome to Locker Talk.
Woo!
Let's get into
Boom, baby.
Let's get into it, baby.
The Electric Factory.
Electric Factory, college basketball, NFL Conference Championship preview. Let's get into it. How about them Indiana Hoosiers, Spurgeon?
So, yeah, I mean, great win at home. They beat Purdue. They look best overall team game I've witnessed from them. Ball movement was great. At times, Purdue looked stagnant on offense. Jaden Ivey got a little bit frustrated. Overall, though, I mean, they played really well. Trace didn't have to do much. That was a big thing as well. I mean, that's the first time all season where they didn't have to go through him. But Purdue lost. They follow up that game with the win against Northwestern by 20 at home. IU, I don't think they've lost in a minute on Sunday. CBS game at home. Then they get absolutely plowed by 18 at home. Following it up on that, Freddie, I'm sure you're not happy with that. I look at it from a Big Ten perspective. Michigan, absolute doggy this year.
They're not good. Michigan's not good, and that's not a good loss. I mean, I was pumped after the Purdue game. I've talked about it on this podcast and talked to you guys about it, outside the podcast. I did not think we were going to win that game. But they came to play. They didn't, like you said, they didn't need Trace. Trace was literally a non-factor because he only played like 10 minutes that game.
11 minutes, 4 points, and a board.
He was playing hurt, right? He was playing hurt.
He had foul trouble.
Well, he was kind of playing hurt, and I think that showed more in the Michigan game. He came down hard on his tailbone in the Nebraska game a couple weeks ago, and he was still kind of lingering pain because it didn't look good when he came down. He went up for a dunk and literally came straight down on his butt. It didn't look good.
Let's not take that though from the reason. The reason in Purdue game was foul trouble.
Yeah. The Purdue game was foul trouble, and I think that was probably a plan, Matt Painter, a plan going into it. I mean, you get Trace in trouble. We don't have anyone to defend the guys that they have. I mean, that was proven to not be true. Michael Durr, unreal on the defensive end. Don't know where that came from. Race Thompson, also great on the defensive end.
Big Rob.
Right.
Rob Tennessee.
I was getting there, but Big Shot Bob. Big Shot Bob is what we call him. And
just because of this game?
Hey, BSB.
He just hit big shot after big shot. And, he was there when it mattered at the end, but I think it was a good sign moving forward. Or maybe it's not a good sign. Maybe it's just something of note where if Trace Jackson Davis is not having a good game, we can still beat good teams. And other guys stepped up, and then Trace really didn't have a good game against Michigan either, and no one stepped up. So, it's kind of finding that line. And granted, I know we said before we started, it's kind of getting to crunch time. 3 weeks left for regular season.
I will say, I think Xavier Johnson is like the Batman or the Robin to Trace's Batman. Because if you look at the game, obviously, Rob Finney, 20 points. He follows it up the next game. I mean, he has 2 points.
Yeah.
Xavier Johnson went 14. 6 boards, 6 assists, 14 points. Trace had 17. It was a quiet 17.
Yeah.
Still, overall team, they didn't play well at all.
No.
But following up off that, you can't do that. Michigan's 9-7 on the year.
The defense, it was night and day difference between the Purdue game and the Michigan game. I mean,
what do you think that is, though? Like, what do you think was like the?
It was a
hangover. That was 3-pointers, I think.
It was a hangover.
Yeah,
they did not come out with the same. Yeah, I mean, they didn't come out with the same intensity on defensive end like they did against Purdue. I mean, it's simple as that. They didn't let Purdue see open threes a lot. I mean, there are a few of them here and there, but you're not going to completely eliminate open threes. If a team's as good at moving the ball as Purdue is, you're not going to eliminate threes completely. But they were closing out on threes. They made it hard on the big men to even get the ball inside. And if they did, they made it hard to score. In the Michigan game, they were just letting guys shoot threes. They let Hunter hit 3-3-pointers.
They disrespected Purdue more. They knew
you respect your opponent. And yeah. I think there is something to be said about that. I mean, Purdue is a top 5 team. We haven't beaten them in 9 games. And then Michigan comes in and we're like, they've only won 9 games this year. This is going to be easy. It's a home game. Michigan's won 9 games. I don't think Michigan's out of it. They have the pieces to go on a little run and make the tournament. They're not completely out of it. So,
just lack of effort, man. Overall, rebounds were down by like 5. Shooting percentage went down 5% between the 2 games. They only had one less 3-pointer, but still. I mean,
the crazy part is I saw a stat on Twitter, and it was just the averages of all of Michigan so far this year, and they had 12 extra points off of 3-pointers than they normally have, and Caleb Houston scored 6 points more than he normally does. So I mean, there's a little bit there that goes to prove that I think on a normal day we beat Michigan. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all if when we go to Michigan that we win that game. But it's it was a little frustrating. I don't like how every game turns into a referendum on the direction of the program. I mean, people were freaking out that we lost to Michigan. Not every game has to be a referendum on the direction of the program. It could just be a bad loss and leave it at that, But yeah, I mean, I guess we can kind of talk about how Purdue rebounded off that loss and move on to that. And, I watched a little bit of that Northwestern game. They look good.
They came out angry.
It's Northwestern, though, too. They're a lesser opponent, but there's not much to say other than Purdue did what they're supposed to do at home at Mackey, come out. Yeah. They just straight up dominate a lesser opponent, get everyone involved. I will say I love Sasha Stefanovic. Dude can just shoot.
He can.
I mean, it doesn't matter. Hand down, man down. I mean, the second that hand goes down, it doesn't matter how close you are to him. He's pulling up and he's splashing. Yeah.
And I think the IU game, especially after watching that Northwestern game a little bit, I think it was kind of a blip on the radar versus, a big theme with Jaden Ivey. Because there's not a lot of teams that are as good at defense as Indiana is. There's really not. And Jaden Ivey struggled against IU, and then he came out against Northwestern. He didn't even play. But, I don't think that's going to be a big thing with Jaden Ivey because there's not a lot of teams in the Big Ten who are even close to as good at defense as Indiana is. So I think Jaden Ivey is going to be just fine. And I still think it's Purdue's conference to lose. I mean, they're not up there in the standings yet, but Michigan State lost last night. I mean, it's anyone's right now.
Kofi Coburn's been out too, so I mean,
they won without Kofi. They beat Michigan State without Kofi.
Close game. Bettors on the spread. I'm sorry for you. No matter. I mean, and I'm not sorry for you, but someone got hurt bad.
Yeah.
So.
It's anyone's conference to win right now. Illinois looks good without Kofi. Indiana looked good with Trace being a non-factor.
Be a silent killer in there.
Yeah, I mean I guess we'll see these last 3 weeks, but I think it's still Purdue's to lose. We'll find out though.
Going back to the beatdown on Northwestern, you said they played without Ivy.
Yeah,
Stefanovic scored 22. They had like 4 guys in double figures. Ivy didn't play the best against IU. He had a quiet 21 points. Still, at that point, if you don't need Jordan Ivey at home, or Jaden Ivey, at home and to still win by 20, whether it's Northwestern or not, like I said, they are a lesser opponent. It's still the Big Ten. They're going to give you everything you got, especially with the rankings involved there. Okay, that took down a big team. You don't think Rutgers was thinking the same thing, even though they're not good at all now when they beat Purdue at home?
Yeah,
they're definitely out hunting. And the fact that Jaden Ivey doesn't even have to play and they're still out there putting in work like that. They're a deep team. They're well balanced. They got the 2 bigs, can stretch it, and then when Jaden Ivey comes in, it's just the whole package. So I still think they're one of the best. But overall, I mean, I don't want to get away from the other team because we're going to talk about Notre Dame. But other than Auburn, and Auburn's a damn good team this year, really good.
Yeah,
I think those 2 are the 2 best. And obviously, Gonzaga, other than earlier in the season, I haven't seen them play anyone, and that's typical of them.
Yeah, I mean, WCC isn't good. I mean,
you got Loyola Marymount, right?
Yeah, LMU, St. Mary's. St. Mary's isn't as good as they normally are.
USF's better than St. Mary's nowadays.
Yeah.
So
San Francisco's having a decent year.
Go Dons, baby. Anyways, Notre Dame, baby. 12-6 right now. Big game tonight. North Carolina State on the road. That'll be a good game. What do we think about Notre Dame? We touched on it before. I said they have capabilities of being a Sweet 16 team. You kind of were like, I don't want to go too far, but anything can happen. And as you've seen in the ACC, Duke almost got beat by Clemson last night at home. Paolo Banchero, other than him, he
the Hoosier hitman, my
Yeah.
boy Alex Hemingway. Hell
he
yeah,
does play for Clemson. He
go
does.
Tigers.
But anyways, Notre Dame. Any thoughts?
I mean, go ahead, Ben.
I mean, I could maybe see them as Sweet 16. And that's a heavy maybe. It's a heavy maybe, but like you said, Spurgeon, I think this tournament every year just proves that all knowledge, stats just goes out the window. Like anything happens, anything can happen, you know. And I think they can make it a run, and they're battling with all these, I guess, decent ACC teams. I think Freddie, I mean, you can probably attest to this, but the Big Ten's the best conference this year by far.
Big Ten's
Say it,
good.
Freddie. Say it.
Don't say SEC. Get out of here.
I'm not going to say the SEC.
You're going to say the
That's what
Big
Spurgeon
12.
thinks. The Big 12
Yeah.
is the best conference in basketball right now.
Really?
And there's not really a debate there.
Big
So
12
who
then
the
SEC,
top
then
three
Big
there?
10.
Who the top three?
Top three conferences right now?
No, top three Big 12 teams.
Big 12 teams? Kansas, Texas Tech, Baylor.
Easy.
And Iowa State's not far behind.
Okay.
I would go in.
They've-
I would be willing. Yeah, I'd go in that
they've-
order too. Kansas, Texas Tech, and then Baylor. I'd
Yeah.
go in that direct order.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think Kansas is. I mean, they got their revenge on Texas Tech the other night. There's no signs that say it's going to be anything other than a typical Big 12 year where Kansas wins the Big 12 regular season and the Big 12 tournament. But yeah, I think Big 12's best conference in basketball. And kind of getting back to Fenn's point, talking about the ACC, it's down this year. I mean, growing up, there's really not a debate that the ACC was at least tied to be the best conference in basketball. That's the way it was when we were growing up. And now it's just not. NC State's down. They're normally a decent team.
Louisville just fired their head coach.
Louisville just fired their head coach. Bringing Rick back, baby. Let's go.
There's not a chance they even.
There's no way.
But
Hey.
yeah,
Iona, go Gales. He's
Go
taking them to the
Gales.
promised land.
but regardless, I mean, the ACC is not as good as it normally is. Virginia's down. Bad. Virginia's down bad. Tony Bennett, what's going on, buddy? But Notre Dame's 12-6, and they're sitting at fourth in the ACC right now. We'll see. They got NC State tonight, like you said. Virginia's coming up next, and then next Monday they got Duke coming to
At
South
home.
Bend.
It's at home.
Yeah. So I mean, those are three big games. If you even go 2 out of 3 on those, you're probably moving up in the ACC rankings. They just got to keep winning the games they're supposed to, and if they lose to Duke, whatever. If they keep winning the games they're supposed to, they'll be in the tournament, and you never really know because they're 12-6. Just win the games you're supposed to. I think you'll get in.
I think like we talked about them before, about them being a sleeper team. Would you still consider them a sleeper team? And then maybe after these 2 or 3 wins, would they not be considered a sleeper team?
They're still a sleeper team.
They're going to be a sleeper.
Even with these 3 wins against Duke, and
They're not going to beat Duke at home. I don't. If they do, good for them. They already beat Kentucky and North Carolina at home.
North
I don't see
Carolina's
them
not
doing
good,
it,
by the way.
North
well, I
Carolina's
mean,
not good.
we also said IU wouldn't beat Purdue, but that didn't happen. So.
Yeah,
That's a
and
different matchup, Then That's IU.
Dude,
versus
this is
Purdue.
basketball. It's the same sport.
It is
Duke
but-
versus Notre Dame compared to IU Purdue, which is always close. Let's think about it. You're comparing apples and oranges here.
I mean,
I don't know.
I see your point. Like, I don't think Indiana's a better basketball team than Purdue just because we beat them. I still think Purdue's a better basketball team right now. But hey, I I don't think Notre Dame's going to be anyone's favorite going into the tournament.
Oh, that's not what I mean. Yeah.
I mean, it depends on the matchup. I could see it. I mean, Mike Bray's a hell of a coach, and I don't know why. This is one thing I wanted to bring up about Notre Dame. I've seen articles that say Mike Bray's on the hot seat. Are you kidding me?
He'll never be on the hot seat. He's legacy there.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. I think it's just kind of fake news. I don't really know.
That dude, like, in our lifetime, that dude is Notre Dame basketball. Like, you don't have Notre Dame basketball without Mike Bray. You know,
he's had it all.
Yeah.
So I don't think new basketball has Mike Bray. I mean, that's it. Check the stats, though, against Louisville when they played. 63% from the field, 65% from three, 71% from free throw. That's on the road at the KFC Yum Center. Now, Louisville's 11-8 this year. Still no walk in the park there to shoot like 63% and 65 from three.
I mean, yeah. Four out of the five of their players win double digits. Like,
yeah,
crazy.
I mean, they can do it. There's no doubt that they can fill up the scoreboard. They didn't do it against IU. That's what kind of concerns me about Notre Dame is I really don't think, especially at that time, I don't think Indiana was that good of a basketball team, and they kind of handily beat Notre Dame. I mean, the more Notre Dame wins, the better IU looks, but
yeah. I think Notre Dame's still also trying to find their identity throughout the season. I mean, they just beat Howard. Granted, it was at Howard. They only beat Howard by 3. Howard's not nothing special. They're 6-8 on the year. I mean, 6-8. They were clearly lesser opponent. Come on now.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we're having the same argument. Like
you beat Howard by 3. What's the argument?
Who's
Howard
you?
Sucks.
I'm me. They're Notre Dame. Like I'm not a part of the program, but I am a fan. But I'm just saying. What I mean by like we're having the same argument is like clearly the lesser team. Okay, boom, Indiana. On paper, clearly the lesser team.
Yeah.
Compared to Purdue.
But that's the rivalry of it. It's like every year they're going to play
you see what
close.
I'm saying here? You see what I'm saying here? Like, it's. I mean, okay, so I get your point. Like, it's always competitive.
The IU and Purdue game rivalry every year as a
that.
favorite, and every year the spread's so close compared to Duke versus Notre Dame. There's no rivalry there. It's basketball. Duke's clearly the better team this year. If they lose, so what? It will be an upset. If IU won, yeah, it was an upset. They stormed the floor. But in reality, it was up for grabs. Could they have done it? Yes, they could have.
Yeah.
And they did it without Trace Jackson Davis too, which makes it even more amazing for them. But if Notre Dame beats Duke, it'll be more of a surprise for sure.
Yeah.
And I could agree with that. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I mean,
then what's your point?
I mean, on paper, like we should. I mean, I said we. Notre Dame should have.
But you could say we. I mean, I'm a Florida fan. I say we all the time.
I say we about IU.
And
go for it.
Go for it. Okay.
Say we do it.
We the people of Notre Dame.
Hey, we could pull it out.
There you go.
I mean, I just think that, like, I mean, yeah, on paper, we should have dominated Howard, but I mean, every team this year's had a game where they're like, "Damn, we should have won that game by more," or "We should have won that game." Like,
and that goes back to my point about IU. Not every game's a referendum on the program, but I mean, when you string things together, it can become a referendum on the program. Mm-hmm. I mean,
I want to have a vote. People that watch this, we're going to put yes or no. Who's right in this situation? Even though there's no really right or wrong.
There's not really right or wrong.
I think you can argue both ways, like, pretty fairly here.
The moral of the story is I think Notre Dame's probably going to make the tournament, and I wouldn't be surprised if they at least won their first round game over a higher ranked team.
Oh, I could easily see them being like an
8 seed.
Game. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, even a 10 seed. I mean, who knows?
10-7. Those are trap games, no matter what.
Yeah.
Because
absolutely.
The seeds are like that because of conference play, most likely. But at the end of the day, they're going to be very competitive.
Yeah, absolutely. All
Who the
right,
hell they
so
got
now-
Mike Bray in there?
Mike Bray,
Yeah.
tournament coach.
Moving
We
on
got
to Butler.
established.
Talk about Butler. They suck.
That is now that we talked about Mike Bray's seat not being hot. Laval Jordan's seat should be burning his butt.
It should be just not even there anymore.
There's rumors that Collier, the AD, I believe it's Collier at Butler, is in talks to bring back Thad Matta as the head coach.
No way.
I'm just saying I've heard a rumor about that. Sources trust me, bro. But I'm not saying who, but I'm saying I've
Dude,
heard a
trust me,
rumor
bro.
about that. and I don't know how
So
much of
Spurgeon,
that
are
is
you
true.
saying that you're connected and you're a source?
I'm not saying
Source,
it's
who's
100%
the source?
true and it's valid, but I'm saying I've heard a rumor about that.
What's the source?
Could totally be false.
Don't reveal your sources. Are you kidding me, Finn? That's not journalism.
I am
Anonymous sources.
source Finn. No,
But
but
I think that, I mean, it would be absolutely awesome if Thad Matta could get back. But, like, that's why he's not coaching right now, is because he had heart issues. It's just like Urban Meyer, except Thad
Urban
Matta's
Meyer
not
had
a
heart
piece of
issues,
crap.
steps away, goes to Ohio State. Literally 2 years later, leaves Florida in the dust. Then Ohio State leaves there, goes to Jacksonville. Shame on him. I used to love Urban Meyer. I thought he was a great guy. Turns out his personality is awful, scumbag.
Yeah.
Players don't like him. He's very unethical. And overall, I hate the guy now.
Go off.
I mean, you leave Florida, you're at the top of everything. You're at the top of the world. You leave, literally the second you leave, who comes in and takes over the reign? Nick Saban, Alabama. You've got to be kidding me.
But
I mean, bottom line, Urban Meyer disrespected Spurgeon 100%.
he did.
I blame him for Nick Saban's reign. The reason Nick Saban's so good, Urban walked so Saban could run pretty much.
Okay.
Oh my god!
And then Urban ran off with health problems.
I don't even want to acknowledge that comment. I want to go back to what we were talking about. And
That's gonna be. We're clipping that. That's gonna be
Good. Urban. I'm gonna get a T-shirt. Urban walks so Saban can run. And
All right, that's our first merch product. You guys,
they were
all
good under Bear Bryant. They had some bad years. Still, they were mid, as people are saying now. But like,
as the people, you are saying right now.
You are
You say
saying.
that all.
sorry,
You're
I don't
the
want to say it's
people.
just me, but
That's a
try to
mid
be
response right there.
They're mid, bro. But yeah, and then but Butler,
All right,
Butler.
that's our to our 12 listeners out there. That's our first merch product is Urban Walk so Saban could run. But anyway,
Butler.
Thad Matta, he's not coaching because of heart problems. That's why he's not coaching right now. I don't think he's going back to Butler. If he
Coaching
does,
Butler right now would just make him have more heart problems, and he'd probably have a stroke on the sideline.
they're not in good shape right now. That's not a program. It's like when, I don't know, when I'm going to say Chris Beard took over for Shaka Smart at Texas. It's not like Texas was down in the dumps when Beard took over. Like, that's what you want to inherit. You don't want to inherit what's going on at Butler right now.
You know it's bad when Butler's finally healthy. Their first game of almost a full, complete, 100% healthy lineup and roster goes to Villanova on the road, and they get 40 balled on the road. I mean, it was bad. They got scored 43-19 in the second half. Villanova's bench players were out there just chucking up shots and whatnot, having fun with it. Like, they're so bad.
I did see on Twitter, actually this morning, there was a little piece about how Butler's athletic department is by far the lowest budget in the Big East and would rank 5th in the A10. The A10, you're ranking 5th in budget, and your
Who's
Butler,
higher than them? Dayton, St. Bonaventure, Rhode Island?
SLU, probably.
SLU, Dev, I could see that. Still, that's a VCU. This is embarrassing, though.
That is, especially for how much and I'm not sure how much this ties into it at all, but I'm about to find out. I mean, like
They got football too.
the cost to even just go to Butler, how none of that maybe goes to the athletics.
Go find some wealthy person in Broad Ripple to donate.
Oh, there's
You mean to tell me there's not plenty of wealthy Butler alumni that are giving money to this? And it's insane that, okay, we talk about their 5th in the A10, or they would be 5th in the A10. You're telling me DePaul has more money than Butler? DePaul. No shot. And that's the thing. That was the point I just said about football. Butler is one of 2 universities in the Big East that has a football program. Butler and Villanova, only 2 who have football. How do you not have money if you have a football program against everyone else who doesn't?
What does Marquette have other than basketball where they're
I don't even think Marquette has a baseball team.
do they?
Let me look. Does Marquette
I
have
don't
a
even think they do.
Because I know Wisconsin does not have a baseball team, so I wouldn't think Marquette does.
How does Wisconsin not have a baseball team?
Too
How do these
cold.
big
Too
Power
cold.
5 schools?
It's
The
too
cold?
cold. Too
Minnesota
cold.
has a baseball team.
Northwestern has a
Marquette does not have a baseball team.
See, and
Oh well. Oh well.
I mean, I definitely think that Butler needs to invest more money or leave the Big East. You can't be in limbo like that. And
A10 is for them.
huh?
The A10 is perfect for because you can't
Yeah.
stoop back down to the Horizon League. They're way
No.
above that.
No,
I mean-
the A10 is a perfect fit, and I think that would be good. But the Big East is also a good place for Butler. I mean, you just got to put money into it to compete. You do, and it's the same thing for any sport. You speak on recruiting and winning big games so you can get better recruits. On and on and on. That's how it works. But
But bottom line, shame on the athletic department and like the funding. Like it's like where is the money? Where is that? Because there's definitely donations. There's definitely
drama department.
alumni pitching in. What?
It's in their drama department.
Yeah, I heard it's pretty nice.
but like IU didn't foot the bill for Archie's buyout. That was 2. It was 2 people, 2 alumni who funded Archie Miller's buyout. You're telling me that, granted, IU's a bigger school. Butler is supposedly more academically, a better academic institution than IU. It's a little harder to get into, and it's smaller. But you mean to tell me there's not people like that out there for Butler? Because there absolutely is.
Oh, 100%. I mean, like the tuition to even just go to that school, it's like probably like 60,000. It's like,
Yeah,
I
it's
mean, where's the money going? I
like
mean,
what it was
obviously
at DePaul.
funding the school and all that stuff, but like doesn't like a certain percentage. I don't know how it works. I don't work for the school, but
Well,
I mean,
look
like,
at DePaul, Finn. I mean,
huh?
look at DePaul's football locker room. I mean,
Oh, the one from 1945. Yeah,
that was used as a bomb shelter in World War II. I heard.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
thing is awful.
We were all there.
And
We all
it smells
did
like it was too. Yeah, yeah.
All 3 of us were there in that stinky locker room.
No shame. Like
It's
wasn't the worst by
absolutely
far,
great and
but
honorable to be in that locker room, but you could literally smell the other locker rooms.
Dirty laundry.
Yeah,
There you go.
we'll say that. We'll say that.
Yes, it was not good. But I see your point. DePaul has a lot of money, but like it's different because it's the D3 level. That money is not going to go to athletics.
no, but still, I
It's
give
like we're talking about Hinkle Fieldhouse. Like we're talking about like
Yeah,
the Butler basketball tradition that is being left in the wind right now. Like it's not really being funded according to what Freddie's been saying. But oh well.
Let's move on to football.
yeah.
Please.
Laval
please.
Jordan should get fired. Butler should put more money into it. Let's move to football.
Let's do it.
Overtime rules. Overtime
Playoffs.
Dumb overtime rules.
Tradition. Tradition.
Oh,
Play better defense. I don't feel bad for the Bills because you let a team go down in 13 seconds to kick a field goal. You left the seam wide open.
You know that last play to get him in that range, whatever.
Kelsey called it.
What?
Travis Kelsey called that play.
No, like, yeah, Travis came up to Pat Mahomes and was like, I'm not going to run that play. I'm going to go find a spot. And Patty Mahomes is like, just wait, let's get the call in. And then at the line, they play it back, and he's literally he's saying, Trav, do it.
Yeah, he told him
At
to
the
find
line,
the seam.
and like just found an open spot, slid into the M's. Like, he got it. But also, like Patty Mahomes, he had like what was it, like 120 yards and like a little over a minute because it's so fast. Because Bills were going in, Chiefs. Were going
as
in.
of like 3 minutes left in the game, the under was hitting.
Yeah.
So,
but off of Spurgeon's point, you're like, oh, they got in field goal range in 13 seconds. The Bills scored twice in like a minute. I mean, the Bills did the same thing. Why should they not get a chance to do that in overtime too? Just
play
like
better
the Chiefs
defense
did.
in the crunch time. 13 seconds.
But
You
the
leave the
Chiefs
scene
also
wide
sucked the
open.
defense. So how can you put that on them?
It was straight up. Oh, straight.
The Chiefs didn't need to play that good a defense in the end.
Yeah, because they didn't have to because of the damn overtime rules. They literally
They didn't even
have
go
to
on
play
the field,
defense.
Burge.
The Chiefs wanted to appeal that overtime rule and like 3 years ago. It didn't get changed, and now they're the successors of it. They benefited from it. It's not going to get changed, I don't think. I think they'll take a look, but at the end of the day, I mean, I feel bad for the Bills, but they didn't just score in 13 seconds. 13 seconds. They scored with like a minute and a half. 13 seconds, though, that's a complete different ballgame.
Do you really want a coin toss to decide the winner of a game?
No, but I'm saying it should have never had to come to that. Play better defense. You have 13 seconds.
Against the
A field goal. They didn't have to score a
NFL.
touchdown either. It was a field goal.
I don't think a coin toss should decide the game. Yet both defenses sucked. You can't just put that on the Bills defense because if the Bills won the coin toss, they probably would have gone right down and scored
You
too.
get rid of overtime altogether. The Chiefs defense didn't have to come up in crunch time. And get rid of overtime.
Because
get rid of
overtime they needed to.
Get rid of overtime, I'm saying. It's a tie game. Chiefs didn't have to do anything. The Bills, all you had to do, get one stop. They couldn't get one. They had 3 straight plays in a row where they succeeded. You eliminate one of those, the Bills win. One.
The Chiefs also didn't stop the Bills at any point. That's my point.
Receivers were wide open.
At the end of the day, though, get rid of overtime. I mean, cool. I still look at the last possession. You know what it's coming down to. They knew what was at stake. 13 seconds left, and you're just leaving them wide open. Travis Kelce's calling the scene. 3 straight plays in a row. He's like, they're doing the same thing. Like, it's pretty stupid. You're in the NFL. This isn't college. You got Tyreek Hill, Kelce, and Mahomes on the same team, same offense. You're going to exploit something. And granted, who knows? Maybe he misses a field goal. But that big of a drive with 13 seconds, that's unexcusable.
Well, at that point, I mean, with the weapons and they were hot already, like at that point, you're just managing damage. Like you're just trying to manage that damage to where it's like not going to completely.
Also, Gabe Davis.
Who?
Who, Finn? What do you mean, who? 8 receptions, 201 yards, and 4 touchdowns? What do you mean, who? He is him.
You keep saying the name when I'm like in the middle of a sentence. What's the who? Who had it?
Gabe Davis.
Gabe Davis.
Who? He was the MVP of that game if the Bills didn't lose. Him. He was the Zay Jones, even though they lost. I mean,
don't get him started.
25 yards at catch, 4 tutties. If we were still in fantasy, he'd have 52 points. Dude went off
to the crib.
Broke his ankles.
He did. He did break his ankles on that touchdown. But at the end of the day, take that Gabe Davis of all people that's having a breakout game. No one could have seen that coming. You get rid of that, Chiefs win easily.
All right, let's move on to the Bengals.
Get rid of it. It happened. That's how football works.
And it happened, and they also happened because they couldn't stop an offense from driving down the field, not even the whole field.
I mean,
helps them, but 13 seconds.
So I mean,
we're gonna get 13 seconds on the back of a T-shirt for merchandise, and Urban walked so Saban could run. We're gonna get that, okay? And it's gonna be a
confusing T-shirt, but okay, yeah. Let's do it.
Okay, so I guess looking forward, because that was the most exciting game. But looking forward to the championships.
Yeah, Bengals.
Joey B.
Did you hear what happened in that game? His legit mic went out for like 4 plays, and he had to call his own plays for the first time ever. All of them worked. Just saying. All of them worked. I think it was like the last quarter too. So the dude's clutch, and he got sacked like 9 times that game. O-line nowhere to be found.
Every crunch time clutch game he's played since like he's been on the national level. I think someone said he's 9-0. I mean,
He's a
that's
baller,
amazing.
man.
That
Joe
excites me
Shiesty.
so much for the Chiefs Bengals game. You got two clutch quarterbacks going at it, but
I mean,
one's
we
got
already
no
saw
line,
it.
and the
Josh
other one
Allen's
doesn't.
clutch too. But I personally, what I was rooting for was a Joe Burrow, Josh Allen AFC Championship.
Oh yeah,
But Patty Mahomes is awesome. You can't deny that. And I don't know. I personally, I have no skin in the game because I don't really care about, like, I don't hate or like the Bengals or the Chiefs, so I don't really care that much. I would love to see Joe Burrow win. I love
I have
that.
skin in the game. I have skin in the game.
Huh.
It's
Why
for the
is that?
Bengals
Hey,
to
tell-
win
hey, tell
because
us about it.
Patrick Mahomes' wife and brother, if I see them on TikTok celebrating one more time, I'm gonna throw my phone through a wall.
I'm gonna hold you to that. When they win,
yeah. You got to break your phone now.
when they win, I'm gonna make sure you break your phone.
So you know how Butler's supposed to have these wealthy alumni to help pay for things? If this does happen, I hope there's a wealthy TikTok person that can pay for an iPhone because, like, I can't have it. I can't have watching this stuff happen. You don't even have to be
You
on
do the
TikTok.
Jackson Mahomes.
You could be on Twitter just scrolling and someone's like, what is this man doing? And I'm like, oh my gosh, why is this on my timeline? Everything was going great today. Like another day at the office and boom, that hits you.
Not fun.
They
Not what you
ruined it.
want to see.
No. 49ers, Rams.
Rams.
Rams D. all the way.
Rams.
I think Rams for sure.
I mean, I don't think there's
Garoppolo's
much
kind of
else to be
relevant.
said because no one's stopping Cooper Kupp. That's it. No one's stopping Cooper Kupp.
The front seven of the Rams, no one's stopping them. Look what they did against Brady.
Yeah. I mean,
I
there's not
also
much to be.
think like
It's like,
Garoppolo. Oh, go ahead.
I think I always see tweets this last couple days. It's 4 guys, 3 of them are soldiers, and 1 of them is a clown. And it's Burrow, Mahomes, Stafford, and then Jimmy Garoppolo in the championship.
Jimmy G.
Hey, he's a handsome guy. He's just not that good at quarterback.
Yeah, he's the guy that put his name on the project, man. Like
He
showed
did.
up.
He
Put his
has
name
put
on it,
his
said,
name
"What's
on
up?"
that project and not done anything.
Yeah.
But okay, so we established we think the Rams are going to win. I think the Chiefs are probably going to beat the Bengals.
Who knows? Bengals already beat him once.
That
Yeah,
was a close
but
game.
it was I don't think there's stopping. There's always something to be said because Chiefs didn't look that great in the regular season.
Also, Chiefs D looked pretty damn bad.
They are suspect, as the kids would say. Mid
Sus.
and sus.
Very sus.
They're not a good defense. It's not even like that they're suspect to begin with. They're just not a good defense. Their offense carries them.
Yeah. And I think their offense is going to carry them right on to the Super Bowl.
Oh, and they surely can. That's the
I mean,
beauty
they
of it.
can, but I think my prediction: Bengals Rams Super Bowl.
I want to see that. Actually, I want to see the 49ers Bengals because I want both upsets, and it'd be what, the 30-year anniversary of the last time they played.
Yeah, maybe, but I think most of us don't really care about the anniversary. So
Tell that to 49ers and Bengals fans.
I
Yeah,
don't
and I'm not
care
one of them.
about 49ers and Bengals fans.
Bengals have been to 2
Like,
Super Bowls.
what
They
is
got
that?
beat by the
Like,
49ers twice. I think it'd be great.
Hey, I'm happy for you, man. But I gotta be honest, I could care less. Like I want
couldn't care
Bengals
less.
Rams. Like give me that.
Then if that happens, though,
Hey, if that happens,
I'm not rooting for it because, like, I want the teams to win specifically. I just think it'd be cool to see history repeat itself. 30-year anniversary. Both teams have had history in the Super Bowls. Obviously, 49ers won twice. You have Joe Montana and Steve Young as 2 legendary QBs compared to who was it? Not Boomer. It was Boomer Esiason, I think, for the Bengals. I mean,
but how cool would it be to be the LA Rams at their home stadium with Joe Burrow? Like that's dope. That'd be awesome. When was the last time someone? Oh, I guess last year.
I don't know, but I feel like you just pictured like a Pixar movie in your head with fireworks going off in the background and people are sitting there like just in like shock. And we're just like, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like like in your head that went a lot better.
Honestly,
the theatrics
yeah.
behind it was
Hey.
sick. Like I'll agree with you, Finn. If it was in my head, I'd be like, the theatrics were sick. Like, oh, this is it. And then it came out, and everyone's like,
Yeah. Story mode.
It's like the
story mode in my
balloon
head.
releases air.
Yeah. Story mode in my head, and just like irrelevancy.
I get what you're saying, though. It would be
Not
pretty.
reality.
Well, look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year. It was at their home field. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. As soon as I said, it, I was like, yeah. I was like, when was the last time that? Oh, yeah, last year.
Literally last year.
Literally last year. Tom Brady was up. TB12.
But before that, it hadn't happened in a while.
Yeah.
That a team played in their home stadium for the Super Bowl. So I mean, it would be cool. So I think it's going to be Rams Chiefs.
Is that all of our predictions? Rams Chiefs.
Finn thinks Bengals are going to win. So Finn's going Rams Bengals.
Ben, do you think the Bengals are going to win, or do you want them to win? Because I want the Bengals to win.
Both.
I want the Bengals to win. I don't think it'll happen.
I think Bengals. I think Bengals.
hope I'm wrong.
I mean, do you think? I don't know. It's tough. Like, do you think the Bengals D is going to hold up better than the Bills D?
No.
No.
No. The Bills D is better than the Bengals.
Yeah.
According to this year, no. They
What?
weren't. Yeah, because the Bengals got it done early this year, and the Bills didn't.
You're going to make me become the Joker. I'm going to go full on Joker mode.
It doesn't matter. I mean, like, the Chiefs are going to put up points no matter what. But, like,
Okay.
I mean, just like, if you're
the
looking
Bengals.
at, like, what's so funny? Because, yes, the Bills D pretty damn good. But, I mean, like, Bengals are advancing,
But they're not there yet. That's the point.
The Bengals
They're
did
farther
play a
than the Bills?
lesser opponent than the Bills.
what's that?
They played a lesser opponent, too. Like, the Bills straight up had to play the Chiefs. So, I mean, if you look at the matchups there, it's like Bengals had – granted, the Bengals could have lost, too. Don't get me wrong. Bills had it harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, like, okay, they had it harder, but, like, they both had the same assignment this year, and Bengals got it done.
I mean, I see Spurgeon's point. I mean, like, Titans, I don't think are that good of a football team. So, like, that game was so much different than Bills Chiefs. I think Bills and Chiefs are the best two teams in the AFC, and it just shook out that they didn't meet in the championship. I mean, that happens sometimes, but I think the Chiefs are going to roll through that Bengals defense like Swiss cheese. I don't know.
Like Skyline Chili.
Like they're going to run through it like Skyline Chili. There you go. I missed it and you got it.
The Chiefs would have been like
Spurgeon
if the Bengals beat the Chiefs, the Cheeseheads, right? No, yeah, they have Cheeseheads there.
No, that's Packers.
No, but
That's
they
Green
also
Bay, man.
I could have sworn the Chiefs fans also did Cheeseheads.
Nah, man.
Since when is Kansas City, Missouri known for cheese?
I could have sworn. What are the heads things that
Yeah,
they
I thought
have
I was
there?
the
I'm
only
pretty
guy
sure.
saying some blasphemous stuff today. And then you got Spurgeon here saying everyone's got cheeseheads.
Everyone, Colts have cheese heads.
Hey,
Everyone
we
just has
might as
cheese.
well have cheeseheads, man. Hey, we're close enough.
No, it wasn't the Cheesehead that I'm thinking of. It was this dude. If you can see my phone, it's that guy.
Yeah, okay.
See
I
how it
can
looks like a
see-
Cheesehead? You see the resemblance?
I can see it.
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, see, he's there again with Elvis, a mock Elvis. He's just their fan. He's like the Colts guy. Okay, that's what I was thinking of.
Cue the
Alright,
Colts
so-
guy picture here. Cue the Colts picture guy.
What does Kansas City have that you could roll through then?
What's that?
Barbecue. Just cover yourself in barbecue.
Just give me barbecue.
Foul. After they win,
Just
coach just gets smothered in it.
Andy Reid would love that.
Andy
tell me
Reid
he
would eat
wouldn't?
himself alive.
He would get some in his beer, like, oh,
He's saving that for later.
Yeah.
All right. I
think we've said everything we need to say. for
we
this
said
Yeah, I think-
everything we need to
before
say.
we go off the rails here,
Before we completely go, we can go off the rails if the people want it. If they say we need to go off the rails, we'll do it, but not right now.
not with our 3 to 4 listeners.
Yes.
We're on the
All
code.
right.
Click the link below and subscribe. More listeners.
Yes.
More
Like-
listeners, Good Time Media. Always find us there.
Good time.
Laughter talk all day, every day. Listen.